Welcome, I'm Dr. Tom Warren and you're watching The Plant Doctor. What we're doing today is we're pruning Yoshino cherry trees. Perhaps one of my favorite ornamental trees is the Yoshino cherry. These in particular, they have outdoor lighting, so at night when they're flowering in early spring, they're just absolutely gorgeous. But something we have to do here every so often is go in and prune these, and that's what I want to show you how to do today, is how to prune Yoshino cherries. We're doing this in the month of May. We have the new growth that has come out, and I've got to prune for three purposes here. One, Yoshino cherries can get suckers. I'm going to show you how to prune off the suckers of Yoshino cherry. Two, these three trees here are in between two driveways, and the canopy will tend to grow lower and lower. The limbs will weep. I'm going to raise the canopy so that when we're backing cars in and out of the driveway, we can safely see the road and vehicles and kids riding their bikes and scooters and all that stuff. And then the third thing is to shape the top. So we're going to take an approach of start at the bottom, work our way up. Three tools you need for the job, actually four tools you need for the job. I have a pair of hand snips, I have a pair of bypass loppers, I have a small hand saw, and then I have a pole saw as well that has bypass pruners on top. I'll leave a link down in the description below for each one of these products in case you need some for your lawn. Let's get started. Let's go look at some suckers. I'll show you how to take those off and we will work our way up the tree. At times, Yoshino cherries will sucker up from the roots. It's very easy to take care of this. You just need a pair of hand snips, and we're going to go down right at the base of the root and cut all these little suckers off. So these usually come off of the root flare of the plant. So here again, just taking our hand snips, putting it down at the base of the root flare, and within a matter of seconds, we've cleaned out our suckers. Now that we've removed the suckers from the base of the tree, the next thing we need to do is come in here, these lower hanging branches. So these branches are hanging over the driveway. So when we come in and out right here, my radio antenna and the roof are constantly hitting these right here. So we're going to come in and go all the way back to a crotch. So a crotch is where the limbs split, and that is where we want to use our loppers to cut these limbs. So I'm going to use loppers on any limb that's a diameter smaller than my thumb. Anything larger than that, I'm going to use a saw. Hang with me, I'll show you how to correctly remove a limb with the saw. We shouldn't just cut straight down. There's a specific way I want to show you how to do it. But all we're going to do here, I'm going to go back into these crotch angles, and I'm just going to remove these lower branches to a height that I feel is going to be safe for the vehicles to come underneath, and also for view, because we have to look back this way down the road to make sure there's no kids, there's no vehicles coming. And so this is also a safety measure as well. And so we're just here again, going back to the crotch angles on these limbs. Probably take this one right here. And now our vehicle can safely go in and out without getting scratched up. We have a line of sight to the road, so we've lifted up the canopy of these trees. For limbs that are larger than the diameter of my thumb, just for a general measurement, we'll say 1 inch in diameter or greater, we want to use a saw. And so how to cut a limb here on the cherry, we don't want to just go straight down the limb, because what's going to happen is as that limb begins to fall, okay, so if the trunk's here, this is my limb, and I just cut straight down here, it's going to pivot this way, and at the bottom of the branch, the bark is still going to be attached, and as it pivots, that bark is going to peel down the trunk of the tree, and we're going to lose some of the bark, and that's a site where infection can get in and just can lead to all sorts of bad things. So what we want to do on our branch is this. We want to go behind where we're going to make our top cut. We're going to make a bottom cut. And I'm going to go about 1/3 of the way through that branch. Then, so my bottom cut's here, I want to go further out the branch and make my top cut. So I'm going to go out maybe 3 inches here and make my top cut. Okay, see how that pivot, if I hadn't have grabbed that, it would have gone all the way down the branch. That's why we put our undercut here, so if that bark peels back, it doesn't go all the way down the trunk. Okay, so that came off pretty clean. We got lucky there. Now we're left with nothing but this stump. So what we can do here is just come in and remove what's left of this stump. So the last thing that we need to do are get some of these leggy limbs off the top of the tree. And the job for that is a pole saw. So a pole saw, this can extend all the way out to 18 feet tall. So it's telescopic. These move up and down. And so there's 2 cutting methods that we have. And we'll be using the bypass lopper today. So you pull this string and it makes the bypass loppers work. Or for larger limbs, I don't like using this because it's very hard to make a bottom cut with this, like I showed you just before. If you have really big limbs, you can flip out this saw blade and cut them as well. But for today, we're just going to be using the lopper. So for example, we have a couple of really leggy limbs up here that are sticking out over the driveway. I want a nice rounded kind of symmetrical look to these trees. It doesn't have to be perfect, like we're pruning a boxwood or a lower pedalum or something like that, but anything that is kind of leggy like this right here, we're just going to hook it and we're going to take that limb down. Same for, we'll take this one right here. We're just going to hook it and take that one. And we'll probably take this one. Now here again, what I'm trying to do is get relatively close to a crotch angle. It's kind of hard to do it with the pole saw. But if you can, go all the way back to a crotch angle and make those cuts. I'm gonna come back towards the camera and look at it from your angle. It's hard to see the leggy limbs when you are standing right underneath it. And that looks a whole lot better. There's 1 or 2 more I may try to grab here, but we're gonna go all the way around the tree, just looking for those limbs that stick out a little bit too far, and we're gonna remove those with the pole saw. In just about 15 minutes time, we were able to remove all this material off these Yoshino cherries here behind me. This does not take very long at all. You just need the proper tools. We were able to raise the canopy so we can safely back down the driveway. We're not having to worry about, is there a kid, is there a vehicle coming that we don't see? We were able to shape the top of the trees a little bit better. We got the suckers removed, and we also removed 1 large limb with the saw. Guys, I hope you learned something today. As always, thank you for watching The Plant Doctor. And until next time, happy gardening.